What's going on, FG fam and potential new viewers to the channel? Yesterday, as was all over the YouTube world in Madden content creation, they came out, EA, that is, came out with the trailer to franchise mode for Madden 23. Now, a lot of people have not been happy with the way franchise has been going in the game, myself included, although I've been called an EA drone or whatever just as much as the next Madden franchise creation person has. But today, we're going to take a look together at this trailer. I want to point out some things that I see along the way. I've seen a few other good friends do this. You can check out my man Big C Got Game. I've seen him do this as well. But let's see. Let's see what they have in store. Without further ado, go.
In addition to the all-new Field Sense gameplay system in Madden 23, new features are coming to franchise this year. Today, we're excited to share the details about free agency, motivations, tags, contracts, scouting, and some of the things we're doing to provide deeper immersion.
Now, all this stuff seems real
Focus on
cool.
these areas specifically to respond to player feedback, with the goal of enhancing the realism, authenticity, and fun within the mode.
That's what people want. That's what we've been wanting. So let's see it.
To emulate the same level of drama and fun that fans experience during the free agency period each offseason, our goal with free agency in Madden 23 is a more competitive and rewarding experience for our players.
Good.
In Madden 22, free agency signings were based on which team offered the most money to a player.
Wrong. That's wrong. That's all right. So that's lie number one in the trailer. Okay, so it was not based off of who offered the most money. I mean, technically speaking, maybe it was, but you would never know that because what would happen is you would put that offer that's on your screen right now to Devontae Adams, $118 million over 5 years, whatever, and you would have to advance the week. You advance the week, and maybe somebody out of nowhere would offer him more money. I don't know, but you don't get to see that. Whereas in every old Madden franchise mode, especially those PS2 ones, you would get to see what everybody is offering. You just had to put more money on. So, partial lie there. I don't believe that it was based off of who offered the most money. You could offer that guy so much money. You could put 150 points on him, and the computer could still get him if they wanted him.
Player. In Madden 23, money remains a factor, but that's not the only factor. All new player motivations and tags add competition and skill to the process. They also drive decision-making beyond just the money offered when negotiating free agent contracts. Motivations help determine why a player chooses to sign with a particular team. Let's go deep.
And that would be realistic, right? There's different reasons why people would sign with a team.
Deeper here with some real-world examples. Jarvis Landry just took an offer with the New Orleans Saints, and one of his motivations to sign there was going back home to Louisiana, where he grew up and played college ball. We have the same motivation in Madden 23 called close to home. If a player has this motivation and you can satisfy it, it's going to give you a leg up in negotiations. Another example, wide receiver Russell Gage signed with Tampa Bay. He actually got a recruiting call from Tom Brady.
Now, one thing that I will say, and I actually watched a Bengals video going over this as well. One thing that I will say is he's 100% right. Go watch his video. We don't know how this is actually going to work. That's the thing. Like, this looks really cool. I like this. Now, hopefully it's not super stupid because, like, as you see, Russell Gage is a 79 overall. And one of his motivations is to play with a franchise quarterback. If every freaking player in the league's motivation is to play with a franchise quarterback, if you got a 74 and he's not going to sign with anybody unless they have a franchise quarterback, we have a little bit of an issue already. The other thing is you see how much impact team has a franchise quarterback has on Russell Gage, so much so that he's completely not a scheme fit, apparently, in vertical zone run, and there's no mentor, apparently, at the position either, even though I think Mike Evans is probably one of the best veteran receivers league at this point. He's had 1,000 yards for like, what is it now? 8 straight seasons, 7 at least. So I would say that puts him as a pretty damn good veteran that you could learn from. However, you can see that he signed with the Bucks anyways. Now it's too late. He's already signed with the Bucks, so it's not like we can go back and see how this works. You know, it's too late already. They put that motivation in there. That's not really like anything that we can explore. So we'll have to see how that works for future guys.
2 days before he signed with the Bucks. This is another new motivation in Madden 23 where players want to play with franchise quarterbacks.
Right, just don't make it everybody.
Previously, players like Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, and Rob Gronkowski all signed with the Bucks to play alongside Brady, a legendary franchise quarterback.
Well, Rob signed with the Bucks to play with his friend. Him and Brady are like broskies. So, like, that could be another motivation. See, like, I still think that they can build and expand upon this. That could be a motivation as well. They're buddies. Like, they played together on a previous team. That could be something, too. You know, they could expand on this. This is just the ground foundation.
Our last example is linebacker Von Miller. He's a veteran who wants to win a Super Bowl first and foremost. That's Madden 23's Super Bowl contender motivation. Player motivations are going to better define where players go in free agency. So, the decision is about much more than money. Does the player want to be in a big market? Does he need to be at the top of the depth chart in order to sign? Does he fit the offensive or defensive scheme? We even have a no-state income tax motivation for teams in Texas, Florida, and Washington for.
Now, that's cool as shit. The no-state income tax thing is awesome. Obviously, Super Bowl chase, Super Bowl contender things are going to be cool, too. There are people that really just sign places even not to start just because that team is in the running. So, obviously, Julio Jones here would want to do that because he's coming to the end of his career and he came this close to a Super Bowl and didn't get it. So, that would make sense. But the no-state income tax thing, that's cool. There is a real thing in real life where Florida teams, Texas teams, Vegas, they all have a better chance at bringing in people just because there's tax. So that's cool too. But again, they can expand on things like this.
Example, which is pretty cool. We're also introducing all new player tags that directly impact free agent logic, trade logic, draft logic, and player progression.
Sure.
Let's walk through a few examples of player tags. When Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP award in Madden 23, he'll get the award winner tag. This will drive free agency AI and increase the interest of other teams to sign him and drive up his market value.
Obviously, people would want to play with somebody who's winning MVP all the time, right? So that makes sense. It should get you better free agents.
Another player tag is called Day One Starter. A great example is wideout Jamar Chase, who became the Bengals' top target on day one.
Yes,
With
he
this,
did.
CPU teams will now utilize pro-ready prospects, moving them above similarly rated players on the depth chart to get them more reps and progress them faster.
That's gonna be awesome. For one big reason. Now, I saw Bengals say this may not be like the biggest thing. But to me, there are definitely a lot of situations where, like the Dolphins, right? When they had Fitzpatrick and Tua's like 1 overall worse than Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry, in a video game called Madden, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not starting over a 22-year-old Tua. Like, it's just, you're not going to do that because Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't getting any better. There's no point in trying to give him playing time or playing experience. He's a good backup. Tua's the guy you're trying to progress, you're trying to move along further, and computer teams should be doing the same. Although, I don't think Tyler Boyd is that old. T. Higgins, they have just a really good receiver room with the Bengals, so maybe that's just not, like, the best example. But, in a case of quarterback, it's a lot more easy. I would fully expect that this means in Madden that Pickett will be starting over Trubisky 100% with Pittsburgh. I would imagine that that's how that would work. But we got to see how this is put into action, too. They say similarly rated players, and you can see Tyler Boyd is 2 overall worse than Jamar Chase, supposedly. What's their criteria? What's the code for this? You know, that's another thing we have to see.
Player progression logic is improved as a result.
Good.
One more tag example is veteran linebacker Bobby Wagner, who has the mentor tag. This tag gives an XP bonus to all players at the same position during weekly training.
Now, that's really cool because for the user, at least, it gives you an incentive to sign a guy like Bobby Wagner, whereas you may not have had that before. You know, if you're going, and Bobby Wagner's not a good example for this, in my opinion, just because he is so good. You would sign him, you would start him, you would play him. But, you know, for maybe a Julio Jones, maybe if he had a mentor tag, just as an example, he's an older guy, he's an 83, you would probably go more for like a younger 79 in most cases, right? But being that he has a mentor and he's going to up every single receiver on your team, you might go for him over a younger player just to get everybody more XP and help out your entire team and progress. So I do like that.
You're incentivized to sign veteran players because they can help develop your younger guys.
Sure.
The new free agency hub is where you place offers, compete with other teams, manage free agent signings, view player motivations and tags, and more.
All right, so this is where they get into a little bit more of the aesthetics of how the game looks rather than mostly the features. So what I do want to say so far is that I really like a lot of what they're putting in here, because for me, the biggest thing about playing franchise versus any other mode in any other sports game is the storyline and the immersion in what happens and how the stories progress. And these are things that are going to create more storylines. Like, this guy didn't want to come here. He wanted to go home, so he went home, and now we play against that team. And we wanted to sign him, and we couldn't. It creates more storylines that way. So I really do like what they've done.
You'll see each player's motivations in the upper middle portion of the screen.
And that's
as well
cool.
as
You
the
should.
Overall interest level in your team.
Good.
Player
You should.
motivations are displayed in order of importance and can be either a positive, negative, or neutral status. Next, in the upper right.
Now, this is the other thing, and I've kind of touched on this a little bit, is like you see how big the impact is on big market. He really wants big market. Close to home, he wants to be, but LA is not close to home, so that's a big deterioration from that. And then you have Super Bowl Chase, where he wants to play with a playoff contender, but that really only means a little bit to him. And then it's total interest. So as long as this game works the math properly, it'll be cool.
Right-hand corner, we have the Market Watch. This shows the current number of teams that are interested in the player, as well as his offer status. The status can be no offer, in the hunt, or not in the hunt.
Yeah, so this tells you that you haven't offered. If you have offered, then it'll show you if you're in the hunt. If you've offered and he doesn't want to go to your team, then it'll say you're not in the hunt. That's pretty cool. It tells you how many teams are interested. These are things that they've had throughout the game's history and now are putting back. And, of course, the guys that are super-duper anti-Madden, you know who those guys are. They're going to be like, well, this is stuff that was in the game, and now it's not anymore, and now they're putting it back, and they're dressing it up as just this greatest addition. All right, shut up. Let them do it. So if they don't do this, then you'll just be like, well, then the game fucking sucks. And if they do it, then the game fucking sucks. So either way, the game fucking sucks, so just don't buy it. Shut up about it.
This provides valuable information as to whether or not you want to continue targeting a player. Below, you can also see his expected market value, which gives you a starting point on what you want to offer for his contract. Another new addition to the free agency system is the introduction of active negotiations.
Now, I think this is, I understand why they're doing it, and I understand why it's a pretty good thing, but I probably would have done it differently, and I'll tell you in a minute.
In order to create a sense of pressure, we've added limits to the number of offers you can have out there at any given stage. In stage 1, you have a max of 5 players you can negotiate with, so you need to be thoughtful going after those top-tier free agents. As the stages advance, you'll be able to offer more players. So in stage 2, you'll get up to 10 offers per eval period. And then after that stage, you'll have an unlimited number of negotiations. We also added the evaluate offers button at the
So what they've done is they've made it so you can only offer 5 guys early on. Now, I don't think that that's correct because I think teams talk to a lot of guys. They offer a lot of guys contracts. Just that a lot of those initial offers aren't good enough for the player. Now, I feel like there is many other ways that they could potentially do something like this. What really happens is the teams with a lot of cap room go in and start scooping everybody up. That's really what happens. But, I mean, there's no real way to represent that unless you are basically doing things where the guys whose motivation is to get money sign first. If they get a big offer, they sign. Limiting to 5 probably isn't right. It's usually more like 20 to 10 to 5 at the end. You know what I mean? Like, the end is where you do your least offers, trying to do your roster fills. But I mean, I think it's a good thing because it'll focus you. And I do like the eval offers button. Apparently, you can only do that 3 times.
the bottom of the screen, which allows you to place an offer without advancing the week, giving you more opportunity.
So they evaluate your submitted offers there at the bottom. You see it went from 3 to 2 down there at the bottom. So you get 3 chances. You put an offer on a guy, or a few guys. You put the eval offer button, and then what it does is it will basically show you where everybody's offers ended up without you advancing the. So those 5 guys that you get to negotiate with, you can eval on there, and then you can make a new offer. So it's not only 5 offers you get to make. It's 5 guys that you are making offers to. So if you're going for those top dudes like Derwin James, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf on the screen right there, you're going for all those guys. Those guys' offers, you can evaluate them 3 times so you can see where everybody else is and where you stand so you can make your final offer before you advance the week.
Opportunities to go back and forth with your free agent targets each week. Finally, at the bottom of the screen is where you can sort through the available players each week, view their player card, target your players, and make your offers. We've added 4 new contract offer presets to help streamline the negotiation process. Player-friendly, team-friendly, neutral, and very player-friendly. And
now, I think this is more for the casual Madden player than the Madden player who's been playing franchise, like somebody like me or anyone else who makes content on this has been playing since the early days of Madden, because you would know. Based on what a guy wants, based on his expected value up there at the top, that $17.5 million per year type of thing that he would want, you would already know what kind of offer you'd want to be putting out there. You wouldn't need this help of very player-friendly or risky or whatever. You would assume already that he's not going to sign right away on a team-friendly deal. That's just not how things go unless maybe he takes a hometown discount or something like that. Those kind of, you see the 3 motivations for him to apparently sign with the team he played with last year, Arizona. He is not interested at all. Super Bowl chase, Arizona is not going to. How is Arizona not on at least a little bit further up Super Bowl chase? I mean, I get it. They're not like super red all the way to the end like this. That doesn't, see, already I'm seeing things that I don't exactly love. Historic championships, obviously Cardinals have never won a Super Bowl, so they should probably be all the way back. Not even a little bit of gray. They've only been in 1 Super Bowl. Kurt Warner took them there. Highest offer, so the financials, so he is looking for the money. You'd want to push that all the way up. You'd want to do player-friendly with him because that's the only way you're going to get a guy like this who apparently doesn't like you, which I don't understand because J.J. Watt signed there for a reason.
and they each come with their own risk and reward. You can still customize your offers as well.
That's good.
And a top community request, new rollover cap, allows you to carry over unused cap space to the next year.
That sounds awesome. But again, as Bengal mentioned in his video, rollover cap, they got to do that the right way because there is a way that is done. Basically, what rollover cap is it's cap that you didn't use from last year because you have to spend a certain amount of money in the NFL this year. It's kind of like a no tanking type of thing, you know what I mean, where everybody has to spend this much. But if you didn't spend that much, then it would roll over from last year. You wouldn't get in trouble or anything. It would just roll over, and you would have to spend it for that year. So that's usually how that works, but we'll see how it works in Madden. I do think it's cool, though, that you can get past the actual cap with the rollover money. That's pretty cool.
Taking the top requests from player feedback to improve franchise scouting for Madden 23. First, we've added more scouts to the pool so you can get information on prospects faster and to optimize your chances in the draft. No matter what your team needs are, you can now find and hire scouts that are experts at evaluating any position. You can also now scout multiple positions at each stage to unlock information on more prospects in less time. In Madden 22, as you scouted a prospect at any given position, attributes and ratings were revealed randomly. For example, if you were scouting for a QB, a rating like break tackle might have been revealed early in the process.
Why?
But that's not an important attribute for QB evaluation.
Duh!
In Madden 23, we've added weighted attribute reveals. Now, the ratings that matter most to the position you're scouting are revealed first. For example, throw power and throw accuracy will be revealed early.
Well, I mean, they can't really reveal throw power because that's part of the physicals that comes in the combine. You don't even know your own game. But thank you for giving me accuracies first.
Early for a QB. We continue to listen to feedback from our community and have tuned and improved other important areas of franchise, including draft classes, franchise hub, and overall immersion updates. We've added more than 30 new player generators to our draft classes and tuned existing ones. Now you can find unique and fun players in every draft round. You'll also be able to
This is cool.
see generational prospects in the draft. These player finds are rare. They come with a high overall rating and will be guaranteed X factors.
I've said this. I've said this on Twitch. I've said this in streams. I've said this when we used to do our FGFL Sim League. There are players that come out of the draft that are, you'd pretty much consider them a 90 overall. Micah Parsons as a rookie. I mean, Jamar Chase probably. I don't know. They still have him as an 85. In my opinion, he's a bit higher than that. But, you know, it's just there's been people, Calvin Johnson, Adrian Peterson, guys that made an impact immediately and a large impact. Dan Marino. I mean, Dan Marino right away, you know, was just a legend. There are guys that come out like that. They don't come out all the time. They don't come out in every draft class. They don't come out super often. But there should be guys with really high overall ratings every once in a while. And they shouldn't always be right away either. For the most part, a lot of them should be first rounders. Most of the guys that I've mentioned already were first rounders. But there's occasionally that guy like Antonio Brown, before, you know, a little cuckoo doing whatever he was doing, and having his issues off field. He was an amazing receiver and one of the best in the NFL, and he was a 5th-round pick. So you never really know where that guy's going to come from either. So it's really cool that they have this generational thing in there, and you're going to want to scout really hard to find that guy if you do get it. From what I understand, it's supposed to be rare, so hopefully maybe like every 7 drafts would make a lot of sense in my opinion.
This is super valuable as you develop your franchise for long-term success. With updated trade logic, CPU teams will place more players on the trade block and give you more offers via the new trade target tags. We've also added the ability to get immediate trade offers without having
Trade Finder. It's basically a trade finder. But thank you so much. Because it was really annoying having to advance the week to trade a player I wanted to get rid of now. So there we go. That's cool.
Having to advance the week before you hear back from a team.
Thank you.
Adjustments to team needs logic ensures that teams are valuing higher rated veteran players, and players with dev traits also have more value.
Good.
This will impact how CPU teams draft and make trade offers.
Good.
New CPU draft logic ensures teams are drafting the right players, and with new player tags, we've improved how each team approaches roster development. For example, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who drafted Trevor Lawrence in 2021 as their franchise quarterback, won't be looking to draft another quarterback, and instead will focus on a different need.
Now, look, as much as I want to go, hallelujah, because honestly, we've been asking for, people not to draft 2 quarterbacks, 3 quarterbacks in 3 years in a row. They also said that there was going to be not happening in 22, and it still happened. So, if it's in action, big thumbs up. We'll see.
It's now easier to unlock and assign abilities. You can assign more abilities and create more variation for your players. And the most impactful abilities are now...
That's my favorite part about this abilities, whatever, because there are certain abilities that are just OP, like Acrobat, super OP for a DB. And now you can't unlock that until he's like 90 overall or something.
Outgated by higher overall ratings. Scouting UI improvements make it easier to assign scouts and create a cooler look at the mock drafts. In the franchise hub, we added team colors and logos to give your franchise's home base some life and personalization. We've also made the activity feed on the left easier to use, and we've decluttered some of the text and improved our...
Now, they say decluttered text, right? But, like, if you actually look at this, for one, the left is not week 1, opening day. To the right, you see that it says opening day keys. So obviously, the right is week 1 of the regular season. The left is week 2 of the regular season. You can clearly see that because week 1 was already played. So you choose a draft class, right, is in there. It's not on the right-hand side. So where do you choose a draft class? Don't tell me you took that out of the game. That I would hate. Scout college players. Obviously, you don't really do that anymore. So if you look at the bottom, practice squad players signed, there's 2 of those. Nobody was signed on the practice squad to the right, so that's convenient. There's also nobody returning from injury on the right-hand side, so that's convenient too. There are certain things that don't need to be put on that right-hand side that needed to go on the left-hand side because they're in week 2 rather than week 1 and something's happened already. So this is a little bit misleading in my opinion, but I mean, it's cool. It's whatever. I don't really care. I don't really think that the left was very cluttered last year anyways. It gave all the important information that you want. And I mean, adding the new colors and logos is it's like whatever, it's a little fresh coat of paint, but it's nothing too crazy.
Transitions for a smoother experience. We're excited about all the improvements coming to franchise in Madden 23. We can't wait for you to experience it yourself.
All right, so that's that. Pre-order by July 22nd. Why? You're not going to let me fucking have the game if I don't pre-order it by July 22nd? Come on, stop lying. Anyways, my thoughts are that, and obviously the Madden haters are going to be like, "Rah!" My thoughts are that it is a step in the... Now, yes, it has been a step in the right direction for 10 years, and yet we took a big step backwards, in my opinion, last year. 22 did not do the things that we anticipated and expected and were excited for it to do. Their franchise updates along the way were canceled and re-put back and lackluster and garbage, in my opinion. I think that they can take this... They can continue building it in the right direction, and I think with the college football game coming out next year, that next year's Madden could be really good as well, because if you remember, EA used to use NCAA code and NCAA sort of things in the Madden games. It really used to help when they had both games going, because they're both football games, and one team can help the other team even though they're completely different teams making two different games. There's certain ideas that go into both, for either gameplay or the way you can make certain off-season aspects work. It'll be cool if they get both of those running at the same time. But you guys let me know what you think. What do you think of the Madden 23 franchise trailer? Since we are franchise gaming here and I do all things franchise, you're not going to see any Mutt Hut, Diamond Dynasty, or any of that stuff here on this channel. All franchise, all the time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you're new to the channel at all and you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and drop a sub on the channel. We're pushing towards 10K subs now, just about 1,500 away almost, and we will be doing a franchise probably on Madden 23 because EA did it again. Every time I don't think I'm going to purchase the game, they pull me back in. You guys have a great day.